Yes, sorry about moving the call to today. So I end the last sprint last night and then start the new sprint. Since we have Simon is on leave, so I kind of remove all his tickets from the new sprint for these 2 weeks as he's on leave. So maybe we can just take a look on the tickets for the new sprints so that just to clarify if there's any questions anyone might have. So let's look at the teleconsultation one since Eric is here. So Eric, as I told you that we already sent the testing feedback and share with Sam Bugwa, and he's looking into specific questions and things like that. And there's a couple things that I realized that it's not really working, especially on the Android side, on the notification. Is not really to link into the specific notification to which patient, so it's not really helpful. It only say how many notification on at the summary, but not really specifying which one. So I think that one need to be fixed. And then he also has clarified that the complex op will actually never be implemented. So that's why it cannot be seen. The images cannot be seen if it's saved as observation and observations by date or by encounter. But I think in the previous version that is working is that when the image still saved under the incomplete or complete form data, I think I was able to view it in case like I want to make changes, things like that. But I'm waiting for him to confirm into that one unless like I remembered it wrong. For other things, more like a couple like suggestions, enhancements on the server side that when the providers, either like the original requester or the consultant who received the consultancy, I think it would be helpful to allow the provider to log in from the server side through the web app and be able to see the specific notifications, as well as to give them the options in case they want to compose new consultancy from the server side. But right now, when the provider log in, because they don't have the super user privilege, they will not be able to see the teleconsultation options for composing new messages or read the to see the new coming messages. I think that one need to be fixed. But if not, I don't think it will be really helpful. Maybe there's some like privilege and role kind of like changes on the server side. If not, I don't think it would be very helpful for us even to have that feature listed on the web app, but then the provider is not able to use it. I think that's pretty much the update I have for the teleconsultation testing, and wonder if you have any feedback or other suggestions, Eric.
I think that's clear, Eda. So maybe we can wait and for the fixes, and then we can resume testing.
Yeah, I think there's another more like for the bigger group discussion is that how do we define consultant in this case? Because currently the form actually hard-coded the selected consultant, and I think we need to have some kind of category what makes someone to be a consultant, and then so that it can be available through the consultancy options. Right now, it's hard-coded to only a selected providers, more like for proof of concept purpose. So I think that one, I think we need to discuss further. Marty, I don't know if you have thought about that one yet. So what do we need to think of, like, in order for someone to be a consultant?
So Eda, right now in terms of priority, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would just leave it as hard-coded.
Hard-coded, okay.
Just like we have a lot more important things to spend time on.
Okay.
Because these things can take a long time.
Okay.
these things can take a long time. And so
yeah.
now,
So who can help us? I think right now maybe if we can hard code it, I think maybe it'll be good to define the hard coded list, because right now when we hard coded it, it's really like short list just for proof of concept. I think we need to update the hard coded list.
No, but what I'm saying is, yeah, we'll update it once we know what our test.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I want to focus. Right now, I don't want to spend time with my brother.
Okay.
I'd rather work on other things at this time.
Okay, sounds good. So maybe we can just move along with the tickets just for discussions later on, but so that we don't forget. But at the same time, we can just hard code it for the implementation to roll out if they give us a list.
Exactly.
Okay, sounds good. That makes sense. So if anyone have comments on teleconsultation testing and things must be fixed. Okay. If not, let's move to other tickets. Because Sweden has some internet connection issues, so we'll look at her tickets in a little bit. So let's look at Vijay. I know that you already start looking at the 322 about removing leading and trailing spaces in those test fields. Just want to check if you get the information you need and if you have any questions for clarifications.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've put up a fix and I'm testing it for the various forms. So that is where I am currently on this ticket. And I hope to finish this off by today or latest by tomorrow morning.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, BJ. So just want to clarify this ticket is because we realized that especially for the identifier fields, users tend to input extra spaces and then it end up into error queue. So this would help with that kind of situation. Since we realized that situation, we just want to apply it to all the test fields.
Yeah, and almost all the forms which we use, right, like VIA.html, registration.html, all of them call document.onSubmit. So I'm planning to make a central fix there, like write a routine which turns the spaces for input text boxes and yeah, call that central routine from various forms. So that's the approach I'm planning to take, and it is working for a few of other forms, and I'm extending it to the rest of them.
Great. Thank you. So let's look at log 23. Derek, I know that you and Ruth did some testing on that one. So, so are you saying that now the only blocker is the so there's one about the validations for waist circumference?
Yeah, we've made several tests as ourselves, and we have done also some more tests in the areas. And maybe there's only validation at the physical measurements that still like pending. On the same note, also the save and draft buttons are not responding. That means that the form cannot save after all responses have been entered, cannot save as draft or either save as a complete one. There is an error it throws, which I've reported that on ticket 2. And we just left a meeting a few minutes ago, which was the meeting was aimed at looking at the concept dictionary in the VM server and also updating the same. And we've agreed that rather than just looking at the save and the save buttons and correcting only that, we've also aimed at correcting some of the validation issues on the form, such that when the form will be out, it's more complete. So I think further updates of the form will come in. I will not say maybe this is the final form, but so far the errors on the form are just the ones highlighted. Thanks.
Okay, so when do you guys plan to have the final list?
So since Savai is on leave, we've not like now tasked him with the task yet. So he says us, let's just test the validations on the form and make sure every field is up to satisfaction, then report back to him for him to do the edits at once.
Okay.
So the RAs have not been in a position to meet the RAs, all of them at once, because they are also involved in other screening activities out there in the field. What we agreed now today is today I've been testing with one. Tomorrow I'll be able to meet all of them in the morning, do further testing together, such that before they leave for the field by 9 we have at least something on our table. So far, more tests.
Okay.
Sure.
So should I say, should I still put this on hold then? Or you guys, because we're still waiting for you, it means that can I put a comment that you guys do further fast testing and then waiting for you guys final list?
I would say maybe don't put it on hold yet.
So can you put the comments that saying that your team is coming up with another list?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Next one is 344. Actually, VG already fixed that, and then we already finished the pre-testing. So I think it's ready to move for co-review for this ticket.
Okay.
Next one is the REST interference. And Wing, did you get a chance to look at that one yet?
Not yet, Ada.
Okay.
I'm still looking at the form for the teleconsultation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the fingerprint ticket, I'm still waiting for the scanner from Judy, so that's why I cannot do testing for those two tickets. And then I don't think Streeter is on yet, is she? She's not on yet. But just want to give the update on 270. Streeter is kind of wrapped this up, and then she was trying to upload this to the mUzima test server, but unfortunately it was done, and she was not able to do it. So we already restart the test server, and then request Streeter to post it there, so then we can do testing on this one. I think that's pretty much for 270 is ready for pre-testing once the module is up in the test server. And then there's a dependency ticket for it is 307. This one is updating on the error summary page that for the search box, because in the past it only searched the old columns, and since we added new columns, and this was already done, but then we suggested Twitter to make some changes in terms of use the liquid base, to pull those reference columns instead of like doing SQL to maintaining like our data, and so that was on hold for testing. Since 270 is ready, so want to check with Sweden whether there's any changes on 307 before we do testing. That's pretty much for these two tickets. And then there are a few tickets ready for code review. So it's more on Win's side. So Win, just let us know if you have any question on those on code review. Pretty much it's like registration form and then the consultation handler ticket.
Yeah, I'll go through it and then.
Okay. Yeah, let us know if you have any question. That's pretty much for the tickets for this week. And then there's one ticket new is about there's like a 303 here. This one is the suggestions that to link the sorry, not this one. 303. That to link the corresponding registration form to the encounter forms so that the data reviewer or the managers can resolve the registration form first before the corresponding encounter form. That's pretty much for this these two sub-tickets. And then I also throw in a couple oncology forms for fixes because the dysphagia form has some issues, and also there's some minor changes on the VIA form. Since Robai is not here, and we can communicate through the tickets on that. So that's pretty much the tickets for this sprint. Anyone have any questions? Sounds like a no. So next item is the implementation update. So Derek, do you want to share the LAC update?
Pardon, please?
Yeah. Do you want to share the update from LAC implementation?
Yeah. I would say nothing much. We are planning for Thursday to go and give out forms in Ch+K, and that's when we're gonna have a number of forms maybe to production, especially when we'll be having seeing some patients together with the CHWs as they do live data entry. So Thursday, maybe I'll be able to give more updates on Friday. For the screening form, it's being used out there in the screening. That is happening. Like today, there's a screening. So I'll give an also update on Friday. So far, the costing form is still on hold, pending because it's not yet complete. And maybe they're okay, and we discuss some stuff all together with Raj, who is the PIs the study, who is around Kenya at the moment. So they feel maybe more effort needs to be put in such that the form is complete enough.
Yeah, so as we discussed earlier, and I don't think you guys should wait just because Survive is on vacation and we can assign to a different developer if needed. So I think it's more like if you guys really think like there's other issues, you should let us know.
Yeah, I think that one would help.
Yeah, can you get that for us soon? So that it's not like waiting for Survive. We don't want because someone is on vacation and then the task is on hold. We can reassign to someone else.
Yeah, okay, fine. Tomorrow morning I'll be able to make more updates on the form, and I'll make sure that they are the first complete. Then I'll ping you, Eda.
Okay, sure.
So just to confirm, again with CDM forms or any other forms, we want to make sure that the changes you guys give us are the last finalized set of changes. So we don't want to get into this cycle where every few days you have some new changes. So just communicate with your leadership that those are the last changes that you're making.
Yeah, if we look back on the current fixes for the costing form, we already agreed like 2 weeks ago. So if any additional thing actually is like new to us as well. So does it make sense, Derek?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, we as we discussed many times, we try to avoid like this non-stop like the final list.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, if like things like enhancement, things like that, you guys did not mention in the past, I don't think we should consider it's like a bug unless like it's a bug. You guys should give it to us. But if it's like an enhancement, nice to have, and all those things, I don't think it's like really included in the original list.
Okay, thanks.
So we
So
look.
just make sure that message is communicated to the chronic disease team, because I think we have to put a stop at what we are actually developing and changing. It's wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, for the CDM team, we have been communicating with them as well, and also oncology program, the same thing that unless like they sign off, and then we're not going to start working on it. When we start working on it, we're not going to accommodate any more nice to have or enhancement unless it's a bug.
Okay, and the leadership has agreed on that, Derek?
We sent email to them, so we have no one really respond, like confirm. And also we, so that's why we work with each team person, the project person like Kenneth for CDM and Lawrence from CDM, as well as Robai communicating with oncology and Ken, so that we get like a final list of the communicated messages to the program, because we want them to extend the program, but we don't get the feedback from them.
Yeah, well, may I make a suggestion, and Derek and I think Lawrence are on this call, is we want formal signatures from your PIs on the final versions of the forms. Okay? So just tell them, we can't really work on it anymore until we have formal approved signatures that this is the final version and the logic and everything is fine. Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Since we don't have other folks from the implementation team, so I don't think there's any other updates on those. Is Lucas there?
Yeah.
Hi, Lucas. Do you want to go talk about the error resolution update?
Yes. The registration related errors are all solved. So I was requesting the different data managers within the teams, the projects, to push the encounter-related errors based on the list I had given before, so that you can be able to push that ahead. I did an email. I think I copied everybody within the projects, and I expect that they start working on them. We have currently 396 encounter-related, so hopefully they can work on them so that we can push the queue to 0.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the one that we discussed last time about when a registration form has been resolved and corresponding encounter form was still in the queue, and how to resolve that particular encounter form?
Yeah, for that particular encounter, it was giving an error that it cannot be able to uniquely identify the patient. So what we did is, since the UID that was assigned from the phone will be different with the one that is already registered within the OpenMRS, within the production server. So what you did is going to the production server, pick that patient UID. So long as you confirm that this is the patient, the encounter belongs to that patient, which is supposed to be in the production server. We pick the UID from the production server and just come and paste on this patient from the error queue. Then you just push it and it processed.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe this one need to be looked at, because the original workflow is we just need to requeue the corresponding encounter form, and then it should be the encounter should be created. I think that one needs to be looked at. So something might be broken or not working. Yeah.
Just to ask Win, is it the encounters within the error queue? Are they just looking at the? I think it is just not looking at the patient ID, which is the error ID, but still looking comparing still with the UID. So if we have the UID within the encounter different from the patient UID within the production server, that is when it cannot be able to it takes that patient as two different patients. So that is where that is still pending. So you have to pick the other UID from the production server, come and put the UID on the payload within the error queue, and then you can push. So long as they rhyme, they have the ID correct and the UID correct, then it processes on the production server. So maybe if there's something else or some other way we can do it, that could be good.
Yeah, so we just want the FYI, and on the I haven't looked into the production database because I don't have access to it. So I only look at the production web app. On the mUzima registration page, there's nothing there. So I think that might be the issues because it's supposed to have the TEM UID and the server UID pair, but it's not there. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I think we need to look at this data because it should create the temporary UID and then use that mapping to process the encounter.
Yeah, that page is still blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I don't have access to the production SQL, so I cannot look into it. What actually in the database, I can only see the web app. Yeah. So that's my observation. I think that's the reason it's not working on the when YubiQ the corresponding encounter it continues to go back to the error queue. So I think that if you can help, maybe find maybe 3 examples of the encounter that has the registration result, but then it say that it cannot be uniquely identified for the encounter. Maybe share like 3 examples with us, and then we can look into it that one.
Okay, Ada.
Yeah, because we just don't want. I think what you did works, but then we don't want people to end up doing like extra work.
Yeah, I will send 2 examples. I think there are so many, so
yeah,
I'll bring you. Those
it's very easy to find them. I think
Exactly.
So except that one, is there anything that you observed that you want to share with the team?
That was one of them. You can look at the email that I did send yesterday. It explains all the errors that I identified through registration related encounters. So most probably all those are the things that I observed. It's basically a training issue, and I had communicated this to the projects that they have to be to train the people who are doing registration of the patients so that we avoid this kind of errors coming back to the error queue, because it's just related to training. It's nothing that is that concerns the application.
Yeah. I got a quick question for you. How are we keeping track of how long it's taking us for the errors to be resolved? So how many errors are we getting, and how long it's taking them to be resolved? And it could also be a question for Win. Is are we able to create a query to just give us some of those numbers? It's one of the things we have to report.
Yes, I have a query that I actually run to know the number of errors that have been resolved and the number of errors that we currently have. So I have a query within me that I actually run.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell you how long it took for the errors to be resolved.
Yes, for the past few weeks, that's why I have been following it up. The errors have not been, the different projects have not been able to resolve the errors because they have been sitting almost at the same number. So that's why I'm pushing on them to start doing the errors. So Lawrence is on leave, and that's why I'm pushing on Derek if you can help or so, and then push on the LAC. Although LAC doesn't have anybody now to do them, but still trying to see how they can be able to do them.
So I think that still didn't answer my question. When I'm not sure which elements get set when an error gets resolved. Like, is it possible to have a query to figure out when an error occurred and when it got resolved, or we don't keep any of those elements? I don't know if I'm making sense.
What error are we?
Yeah. So suppose a form is submitted, okay, and it goes into the error queue, okay. We actually require to have the errors resolved within 2 weeks, okay. So we have to report what percentage of our errors were resolved within 2 weeks. So, if an error is resolved, other than the fact that it shows up in the encounter table, for example, is there any other way of figuring out what the time frame is for it to get resolved? Do you have a timestamp that can allow us to create a query to do that? Am I making sense? Or does it have?
No, we don't have that kind of information. What we only have is once the error is resolved, it will go to the archive.
Okay. So once the error is resolved, it goes into the archive, basically the form archive type of thing, or the payload archive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we know what time it goes to the payload archive, right? So from the time the form was submitted to the time it goes to the archive, wouldn't that give us a sense of when it got resolved? Just give and take the time it actually got to make it into the system. Isn't that a good surrogate?
I think there's submitted info, and then when it was processed, I think in the database.
So it's possible to do a query that tells us.
Yeah, so it's...
No, but when I think the submitted is when the error was when the payload was submitted, but then process is when it's like after it being queued and then it being processed. So I think it's two different things. I think what they're looking for is when the error was first created. So like will be like submitted or processed. We can use one of those, maybe submit and maybe processed. And then the other one, what they're looking for is when the timestamp when the error message got resolved. I don't think we have that one. So what Martin's asking is, since one is resolved, it should create another entry into the archive table. Can we use that as a resolved timestamp? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I thought that's what Win was saying, is that that timestamp should work potentially. Is that correct, Win?
I think we probably should look into the database. I'm not quite sure, but I think there's 2 date added into the table.
Are you talking about the error queue table? Error queue table have like submitted on and process on, I think.
Anyway, so can someone look into it to just figure out if we can, essentially we need to be able to determine how long it takes for the errors to be queried. We can use some surrogate determinants, for example, when the timestamp when it gets to the archive, the timestamp when it's processed, whatever you think makes sense. We just have to be able to do that in a little bit more of an automated fashion. Okay, because it's one of the things we have to report. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
So Edgar, can you work with Win maybe to figure out what's needed?
Yeah. Just take a note, yes.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Cool. So is there other topic or things that anyone want to discuss? I think because those are on my agenda, and I wonder if you guys have other things you want to discuss or to share.
Could I get an update on, did we resolve everything for device management and security?
There's still a couple tickets on that.
Okay. Are there showstopper tickets?
It's not really showstopper, but it's more like like a validation thing. So it's nice to have, but then you can still roll out, I think. Okay. That's my understanding.
Okay.
So I haven't. So what my plan is, like, I need to do another end-to-end testing myself, just to confirm those reports. That's more like on my to-do in terms of device management and security. So right now we're doing the one for teleconsultations, and so next one would be the device management and security. So any other topic? If no, I think we can end our call a little bit early, and we will chat again tomorrow during our Scrum through IRC. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.